In the heart of the great animal kingdom, deep inside the lush and peaceful greenleaf forest, all the animals live together in harmony. Lions, elephants, zebras, monkeys, birds, and even snakes had found a way to share the land. Every creature had its role, and no one dared disturb the balance. Until one day, a fox named Koko came to the forest. Koko was not like other animals. He was small, with orange fur, sharp eyes, and a tail that moved like a snake. But what made Koko truly special was not his looks. It was his mind. He was clever, too clever. At first, nobody noticed him. Koko lived quietly, catching mice, eating fruits, and staying out of trouble. But in his heart, Koko was bored. He didn't like how the forest worked. Why should the lion be king? He often said to himself. Why do elephants get the best watering hole? And why do monkeys laugh like they own the trees? Koko wanted to change things, but not by asking. He had a plan. Koko started small. He visited the monkeys in the tall trees and whispered, "Did you hear what the parrots said? They think monkeys are foolish. They say you only swing because you're too lazy to walk." The monkeys frowned. "That's so." Then he ran to the parrots. "The monkeys said you only talk because you're scared of silence. They said parrots are just noisy cowards." Before long, parrots and monkeys began to argue in the forest. The noise woke the leopard from his nap, and soon everyone was annoyed. But Koko smiled. Next, Koko went to the elephants. He bowed politely and said, "Great elephants, I saw the hippos swimming in your river. They even said the river is theirs now." "The nerve!" roared the elephants. Then Koko went to the hippos. "Do you know the elephants are planning to block the river? They said fat animals like you don't deserve to swim there." That was all it took. The next morning the forest shook with loud cries as elephants and hippos argued by the river. Monkeys and parrots joined the fight, shouting from trees. Even the crocodiles opened one eye. The peace was breaking. Now the Lion King, mighty and proud, heard of the troubles. His name was King Baraka. He called all the animals for a meeting at the big rock in the center of the forest. "My friends," he roared, "why are we fighting? This forest has enough for all. What has changed?" Everyone looked at each other. No one could answer clearly. Confusion spread like fire. That's when Koko stepped forward. "Your Majesty," he said in his sweet, smooth voice, "maybe someone is causing these problems. Maybe someone wants power." "Who?" asked the lion. "I do not know," said Koko, "but I will help you find out. Trust me." The lion nodded. He didn't know Koko well, but Koko sounded honest. That was his biggest mistake. From that day, Koko became the lion's advisor. He sat beside the throne, whispering words into the king's ear. "Watch the zebras," he would say. "They are planning to leave and start a new forest. The monkeys, spies for the leopards. The birds, they carry secrets in their songs." Slowly, King Baraka began to doubt everyone. He no longer smiled. He stopped the big dance festival. He ordered guards to watch the watering holes. He even said no one should gather in groups without his permission. The animals were shocked. This was not the forest they knew, but Koko was pleased. One morning, the forest woke up to find all the monkeys gone. They had left in the night, swinging far away to another forest. The birds followed soon after. Then the zebras stopped coming to the river. Fear had swallowed Greenleaf Forest. Now Koko had more power than ever. He told the lion, "See? They are all leaving because they are guilty. Only I stayed. I am loyal." The lion, now old and tired, believed him. "You are the only one I trust, Koko." And just like that, a fox ruled the animal kingdom. But power is a tricky thing. In the corner of the forest, under an old twisted tree, lived an owl named Grandma Owie. She was wise and quiet. She had seen many seasons come and go, and she watched Koko from the start. One night she flew to the lion. "Your Majesty," she said softly, "I know who is behind the troubles." "Who?" asked the lion, his eyes full of worry. Koko, the lion jumped. Koko, but he's my friend. No, said Grandma Owie. He's clever, too clever. Let me prove it. The owl whispered her plan. The lion agreed. Next day, the lion called Koko. There's a secret meeting tonight in the dark cave. Come with me. We must stop it. Koko's eyes lit up. Of course, Your Majesty. But when Koko entered the cave, it was not full of enemies. It was full of animals, all of them. Monkeys, birds, elephants, zebras, even the snakes. They were silent. Then Grandma Owie flew in with a scroll. Here is a list of lies you spread, she said, and the animals you turned against each other. Koko was caught. Koko was silent. He knew it was over. The lion looked at him, tears in his eyes. Why, Koko? Why did you do this? Koko shrugged. Because I could. Because no one listened to me when I had good ideas. So I made myself important. The lion turned to the animals. Let this be a lesson. Even the smallest voice can cause the loudest trouble. Let us never allow lies to guide our hearts again. From that day, the forest changed. No one ruled alone. A council of wise animals was formed. Each species had a voice. Peace returned, slow but strong. Koko was sent to live alone in the dark hills, not as a punishment, but to think. And sometimes, if you pass through Greenleaf Forest, you might still hear whispers in the wind. But now animals do not believe whispers. They believe in each other, and they remember the fox who almost scattered the kingdom, but also brought them together. Koko sat alone in the dry hills beyond Greenleaf Forest. The grass here was brown, the trees thin and tired. There were no animals to trick, no king to whisper to. Just silence. At first, Koko laughed. Let them miss me, he said. They'll come crawling back. But no one came. Days turned into weeks. Food became harder to find. Nights were cold. Koko, once proud and powerful, began to feel small. He missed the smell of sweet berries, the sound of monkeys laughing, and even the grumpy voice of the old lion. For the first time, Koko felt something he never felt before. Lonely. Back in Greenleaf Forest, the animals worked hard to heal what had been broken. The Animal Council met every week under the big baobab tree. There was Mama Zebra, wise and gentle. There was Chief Monkey, always ready with a joke, but now more serious. There was Duma the leopard, careful and alert. Grandma Owie sat in the middle, calm and firm. They talked about water, food, play, and safety. Every animal had a voice now. Even the frogs had a tiny seat carved in a mushroom. The forest was peaceful, but something still felt missing. We forgave each other, Grandma Owie said. But can we forgive Koko? Some animals shouted, no, he almost destroyed us. But Mama Zebra said, even a broken branch can grow leaves again. Let us test his heart. So the council agreed to send someone to visit Koko, not to punish him, but to see if he had changed. They chose Timo, a young squirrel. He was fast, friendly, and very curious. Give him this bag of food, they told Timo, and bring back the truth. Timo packed his tiny backpack and left at dawn. When Timo reached the hills, he found Koko sleeping under a tree, looking thinner and sad. Hello? Timo squeaked. Koko blinked. Who are you? I'm Timo. I brought you some food. Koko looked at the bag, then at the small squirrel. Why? Because maybe you're hungry, and maybe not all animals hate you. Koko turned away. They should. I don't deserve kindness. Timo sat beside him. You made a mistake, a big one. But maybe, just maybe, you can fix it. Koko didn't speak, but that night he cried, not because of the cold, but because someone had finally shown him kindness. 1 week later, Koko returned to the forest, not as a king's advisor, but as a helper. He didn't walk proudly this time. He walked slowly, head low, eyes soft. Many animals stared, some whispered, but he walked straight to the council and bowed. I was wrong, he said. I lied. I turned you all against each other. I don't ask for power. I ask to clean the river, to carry fruits, to do anything. Just let me help. The forest was silent. Then Grandma Owie stood. We all make mistakes. Some small, some big, but only the brave face them. She looked around. Shall we forgive him? One by one, paws clapped, hooves stomped, wings flapped. The forest roared with one word. Yes. Koko worked harder than anyone. He helped the beavers build new dams. He taught the young ones how to avoid danger. He even found clever ways to stop wildfires using wet leaves. Soon animals began coming to him, not for gossip, but for solutions. One day the monkey twins got stuck in a thorn bush. Koko used his thin tail to pull them out. Another time, parrots lost their eggs during a storm. Koko built them stronger nests with vines. Slowly his name changed from Koko the Cunning to Koko the Wise. To mark 1 year of peace, the council announced a big event, the Festival of Forgiveness. All animals wore colorful leaves and flowers. The trees were lit with glowing mushrooms. Birds sang, and the monkeys danced. Even the grumpy porcupines cracked a smile. At the center of it all was a stage. The lion, now old but proud, stood tall. He called Koko forward. Koko, he said, once you broke this kingdom, now you help keep it strong. What do you have to say? Koko looked at everyone. Never use your gift to hurt others. Use it to lift them up. I was clever, but now I am wise. Cheers filled the air. That night, the stars above Greenleaf Forest seemed to shine brighter than ever. Koko now lives in the forest again, not in a palace, but in a small hut by the river. He writes stories for the young ones and teaches animals about truth and unity. Whenever a fight begins, animals say, remember Koko, and peace returns, because the fox who once almost destroyed the forest became one of its greatest protectors. And so, the forest lived on, stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. Just when peace had fully returned to Greenleaf Forest, a stranger entered the land. He was tall, thin, and moved like smoke through the trees. His name was Rago, a jackal with a shiny black coat, sharp yellow eyes, and a cold, clever smile. Rago didn't roar or run. He watched, listened, and planned. He whispered. So this is the famous forest I've heard of. Too peaceful, too soft. Let's shake things up. He didn't go straight to the lion. He went to the weak ones first, those who still felt forgotten, the wild cats, the lone hyenas, the angry porcupines. You work hard but get nothing, Rago whispered. While others feast, you suffer. Why not take what you deserve? Soon strange things began to happen. Food piles went missing. Warning signs were scratched off trees. Young animals were tricked into wandering too far. The council was confused. This isn't like before, said Grandma Owie, but Koko knew that smell, that style, that pattern. He narrowed his eyes. This is the work of another cunning animal. The council asked, do you know who? Koko nodded slowly. Not yet, but I will find him. Koko began tracking the trouble. He watched footprints, listened to whispers, followed broken branches, and one night near the silent swamp, he found him. Rago, sitting under the moonlight, eating stolen berries with a smirk. Well, well, Rago said, the famous fox returns. This forest belongs to peace now, Koko said calmly. Peace is boring, Rago replied. Don't you miss the power? The thrill? Koko shook his head. I learned my lesson. You should leave before the forest teaches you the hard way. But Rago just laughed. We'll see. Rago didn't disappear. Instead, he worked faster. He whispered to the wild boars, "Why do you always clean the mud pits for others?" He teased the snakes. "Why hide in holes when you could rule from the trees?" And worse, he planted doubt about Koko. He was once a liar, wasn't he? Maybe he never truly changed. Soon animals began to whisper again. Some glared at Koko. Others walked away when he passed. It hurt, but Koko did not give up. He knew he had to do something bold. Koko stood before the animal council. "Let Rago speak," he said. "Let him sit here and speak his truth." The animals gasped. "Are you sure?" "Yes," Koko said. "If peace is strong, it can face any voice." So the council invited Rago to speak. He stood proudly, flashing his white teeth. "Friends," Rago began, "I only offer freedom. Why follow a council that hides the best fruits? Why let one group decide for all? Why trust a fox who fooled you before?" The forest was silent. Then Koko stood. "I once used lies to break this forest," he said, "but I used truth to heal it. If you think I am still that fox, I will leave. But ask yourselves, what has Rago done to earn your trust?" The wind seemed to pause. Then Timo the squirrel stepped forward. "Koko saved us. Rago only stirs hate." Then the monkeys. "We trust Koko." Then the birds. "We stand with him." One by one, animals spoke. Even the snakes hissed in agreement. Rago's smile faded. Rago, realizing his tricks had failed, ran off into the shadows, never to be seen again. This time, the animals didn't just clap. They hugged Koko. They wept. They laughed. Not only had Koko saved the forest again, he had proved that even a fox with a broken past can become a true hero. From then on, every year, the forest celebrated the Day of the Fox. They shared stories about truth, unity, and forgiveness. Koko continued to teach the young, but now also trained others, like Timo, to become guardians of peace. He often said, being clever is a gift, but being wise, that's a choice. Years later, young animals still gather around fires and ask, is it true? Did Koko really save the forest twice? Yes, the elders say with smiles. And he didn't do it with teeth or claws. He did it with honesty, courage, and change. And somewhere deep in the forest, an old fox watches the stars with a gentle smile, his heart finally full.